Welcome to the 31st episode of Interview with Professor Franz Ruppert. And today we are here again in his office. We just had a workshop. And this is the 31st time, Franz, we are having a chat.
Quite a lot, yeah?
Yes, throughout the last 6 years.
Okay, good.
Yeah, and actually today's topic is on parenting, healthy parenting. We already done part 1.
Another example is that I had a bad childhood, and then I want to be a better parent for my child. And this is...
So we have children, so that they don't have to experience what I experienced as a child. Yeah. And that is also not healthy.
No, because...
But today we talk about part 2, and I want to focus a little bit about contact with our children. So, hi Professor.
Hi Christine.
Yeah, there has been a lot of discussion and also expert advice in the last 5 years on how to discipline our children. Okay, I would really love to hear your thoughts on this. Is there such a thing as healthy discipline?
I would say if it comes from your healthy part of the psyche, and you're really aware of what you're doing and not putting survival strategies on the children, then maybe, of course, children have to learn how to deal with their impulses, what is also good for them and what is good for others. It's a learning process, and children have to learn, and they do it somehow intuitively, and sometimes they need some advice, of course.
Okay. Yeah.
And at the same time, you have to, as a parent, you have to, this I want and this I do not want.
Yes,
this is it annoys me and this doesn't annoy me.
Yes.
And then at the same time, knowing that children need space for development, that they need space to experiment. It's like that they have to run around, and in order to train their muscles, and they have to tear something in order to know how to do it with
exploring the world, basically.
Exploration. It is important because all this what the children are doing is creating their mental capacities, and they learn and they understand, and so if you discipline them too much, then it's maybe you interrupt this development, the motoric development or the sensoric and even or the intellectual development. So this is always what you have to be aware, and giving them enough space. And this is maybe one of the problems if you live in a flat where the neighbors are disturbed, or there is no extra space for children, where they can put some would make some chaos, and always being careful not to
controlled
to destroy something. So they need, especially smaller children, they need their own space,
like an experiment lab.
And this is, of course, it depends also of the opportunities and the capacities you can offer the children.
Interesting that you said in the earlier part of your answer that you mentioned about provided you do not put your survival strategies on the children. So what do you mean by that? Can you state some practical examples?
If you very easily be stressed, and you can't tolerate the children making noise, the one question is, where does it come from? Is it really because it's too long and too much noise, or because you so easily be triggered? Because
the parent,
as a parent, because you have headaches, or you have you are very nervous because of your traumatic experiences,
or just irritated.
For example, you have, after the Second World War, many soldiers came from war home, and they were so stressed, they were so traumatized that even the smallest movements of the children, they upset them, and they got angry, and then they started to beat the children. So the amount of your own trauma, they raise the amount of your stress. And if you're more healthy, more integrated, you can much more tolerate. You can say, okay, this is normal what children are doing. But if you're so under stress, you're so traumatized, even the smallest noise the children are making, that it upsets you. And you think you have to discipline them.
Hitting, slapping, belting. In Manila, they say slippering. They take a slipper and they hit the child. So all kinds of terms, all kinds of things you do to the child.
It's a law. It's a law here in Germany that is a crime. Yeah, it's forbidden.
Okay.
It's a bit,
it is also a law in Singapore, but nobody is really observing it.
Yeah, but this is the other thing. But we have these laws, no? And we need
doesn't
to know
really
that
seem to help.
We need to know that this is a crime.
Yes.
Doing this types things is a crime. And it is for a good reason, huh? Because we know how destructive it is for the development of children, how they get, in a way, traumatized, traumatized by being slapped physically or also psychologically if you insult them, and so this is really traumatizing. And somehow there's a consciousness in some societies, and maybe a growing consciousness, and we have to make others aware about it. Yeah. If you do this, you traumatize your children. Do you really want it?
Yeah. Okay, and then some will say that, every generation do it. I grew up under all these beatings and scoldings and caning and belting.
That's what we call normalization of trauma. That you try, the own trauma you suffered from, to think this is normal, but it's not normal. It's a trauma. You traumatize the children. At the same time, what I also say, somebody who traumatizes another person traumatizes himself and herself, because then you can be blamed, you can be punished, you have to hide it, you do it secretly, and then you start a perpetrator, being a perpetrator and developing perpetrator attitudes. All sorts of symptoms. The physical, they get ill. Psychological, they can be very anxious and very withdrawn or rebellious. They also can become rebellious. They become numb. If you beat a child, then maybe it doesn't feel the pain because you have this surviving strategy of numbing. Yeah.
And then they end up, because the parents don't see any reaction, they have to beat harder.
And then there's a
just to get the
vicious
reaction.
circle. And the children they say, okay, they can punish me as much as possible, and I don't feel. And so this is, in the end, is also making children feeling nothing in the end. And if you do not feel nothing, if you feel nothing, and you can no longer be responsible for what you're doing. The consequences, you do not see the consequences of your actions.
Okay, and some parents, they will say, oh, I don't touch my child, but I scold them.
Even here in Germany, there's maybe there's less physical punishment, but there's even more blaming. That you put shame on the child. That you're not right, and your mommy is sad if you're not.
Yes. So they bring them through the emotional guilt.
They make them feel guilty, or they blame them, and see your friend has written Mark 1 in this exam.
Okay,
and you
wow,
have
this is stressful, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's working.
So
more
it doesn't even have to be scolding. It just be some comparing and some with the neighbors.
Valuing whatever the child is doing, to value it.
Whatever the child is doing.
Is this valuable or not valuable? And then the child always. Then in the end, the child thinks whatever I do is valued. And I can't. Try something out.
What do you mean value? Are you talking about being judged or what?
Judged,
Right.
And then
being criticized,
and then to do the same with others. As a consequence.
Okay, all right.
You judge others and you judge yourself.
And then they also judge others. Okay, all right. There's a saying in Chinese. It says it goes 打是疼，骂是爱. So both are love, to scold and to hit.
This is also the tradition in old Europe, because the Romans said that if you love your child, you have to beat it. It's perpetrator. It's also
if you spare the rod, you spoil the child. They say that.
It's perpetration. This beating is perpetration, and then you justify with what I call perpetrator attitudes. Perpetrator always try to justify the perpetration.
So are you saying that there is no justification whatsoever for a parent to hit the child?
There is no justification to traumatize.
No matter what.
There's justification to traumatize the child.
Because they can say they make us angry. I told them 10 times. I told them 100 times. They are still doing it.
If you do something to traumatize your child, it's not okay. And this you have to find out. and they have to learn, and they have to become aware. What I'm doing is what I'm doing is this traumatizing the child? Yeah, and this is what is for me is important message. No? Is take trauma serious. Okay. Try to learn what is traumatizing. Try to find out. Be interested in all those situations who produce a trauma. And this is, I think, it's very important for parents that they have an understanding, a very good understanding about what is traumatizing. Yeah. It already starts with the womb time. It starts with the birth processes. It starts with breastfeeding or not breastfeeding. It starts with leaving the child alone. This, we know, meanwhile, there are certain situations you can say they are traumatizing. If you put your child in such a situation, the effect is that your child is traumatized. And do you really want, as a parent, do you really want to have a traumatized child? And I think this is something we have to learn. It's not so much have these rules of education or these rules of how to react on a child. This comes later. The first thing is to know what is a traumatizing situation for a child.
Yeah.
If you put the child in foster care or something, and leaving the child alone for many hours a day, you traumatize him. These are the important things.
I think many parents wouldn't like to hear this.
They won't like to hear it. They won't like to hear it. They just want to hear maybe something how to behave.
Yes.
But the basic thing is the situation where the children are brought in that are traumatizing the child.
And then they ask, what then can they do? They have no choice but to work.
Then think about it, of our society that systematically forces you as parents to traumatize your children.
Because they offer earlier and earlier foster care.
Yeah, what is this society good for? What is this economic system good for if the parent generation just is traumatizing the child generation? What is society good for?
To aim for success and to aim for a better life.
Is it really a better life? if you traumatize yourself, is this really a better life? Yeah.
That's gonna. I have a feeling this is going to be a huge debate. Out there. Debate in themselves.
I think that we have to debate this. Yeah? Yes. We have to ask our question: what is it good for? What we are doing? And if you are parents and have children, and you know that the only way, to raise up the children is to traumatize the child, what is it good for?
Yeah, that's you have said it very simply, but many people, I would suppose they would say it's not so easy. To just, it's like so many things.
But I know it's challenging. It's challenging.
It's really a huge challenge.
It's challenging, but I'm convinced that many societies are traumatizing societies.
Yes.
We have to stop it. We have to finish it. Yeah.
Right.
Not only deal with the symptoms and cure some symptoms, to really look at the basics. Where it all come from.
So some parents will ask, what do you want me to do then? I quit my job?
First step is look at your own trauma. Yeah.
This will be the first question they will ask.
Look at your own trauma first, and then you find alternatives.
Yeah, I like that. I like the idea of finding alternatives.
Then
there are many options available.
There are options. But if you are just focused on your survival strategies, you repeat the same thing again and again. First, it's traumatizing the child, and it forces the child to split and to survive in a way. And
as like the mother is surviving, how do you explain that? By putting a child away, the mother is actually in survival state.
I read, for example, in an article, for example, in France, that many pregnant women, the only concern of them is, where do I put after birth, pretty early, put my child to? Yeah. Why does this woman want to be a mother at all? If the only concern is how to give as much as possible my child away, what is it good for? Yeah, and they said they even do not want to make this bonding process, what is a natural process, but in a way to interrupt this bonding process in order not to feel the pain what is a natural pain reaction, giving the child away. So it's crazy. It's crazy. And somehow some developments are really very
interesting.
Very unhealthy.
Yeah, I mean, wonder how the society has shifted too. But then again, I have clients who are parents, and they tried looking after their children for a while. After a while, they go nuts. You know, they say, "Oh, it's so suffering for me to be at home full time." What do you say to that?
Yeah, this is what I say. Before you get a child, prove yourself if you want it. If you really want to raise a child and to be a mother or be a father, if you really want it. Yeah.
So what you're saying is, if the parents were to give birth and then thereafter they put the child in the childcare, there may be some unconscious part of them that do not want the child. Is that what you say?
They repeat. I think in many cases they repeat what has happened to them. They were rejected. They were not taken care for. Right. Nobody looked at them, and they just they repeat the same. What has been done to them unconsciously. They do the same to the children.
Right. If, let's say, the parents stop now and then harm has been done to the children, is there still time for recovery?
Of course. This is what we are doing all the time. No? We are with our work, with all the time. We offer this opportunities.
Yeah, of course, I know.
If we are traumatized, to come out and to find a better way of living.
How do they do that healthily when the children misbehave?
The question is misbehaving. Yeah.
That's a good question. Yeah.
What is misbehaving?
They say when the children is naughty. So do you ask the question, what is the definition of naughty?
There's always a reason. There's always maybe some frustration of the child. Maybe you do not in the moment but as a parent you have to be patient, and you have to have compassion, and you have enough time. Yeah, it's not something you can do just aside.
It really sounds very easy. Especially when parents can say, oh, my children, when we give in to them, they take advantage of us.
No, you see, something I think is very important. Not traumatized children. They know how to behave. They know where the limits are.
Okay.
If you have those traumatized children, already traumatized in the womb time, traumatized to cesarean section, traumatized afterwards, they are not really aware of what you're doing. They're acting out the survival strategies. So if the child has the chance not to be traumatized in this early stage, the child knows how to behave. The child learns very easily what is good for him, is good for others, and knows how to behave.
Okay.
Yeah, because all the children have this natural also understanding of what is the need of another person and what is my need, and they can find compromises. If you traumatize, and if children are traumatized, they can't do it.
Okay.
They're acting out the survival strategies. Yeah, this is one of those.
Does it work?
It's one of those concepts,
Justification?
It's one of those justifications.
They say, we spend quality time in the weekends.
Yeah. This is one of these concepts. Ask the children what they want. Ask the children what they want.
Of course, they will surely say they want mommy and daddy.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah. And not only on making...
My child say that all the time.
Not only making special things. Yeah. They want them continuously. They want to have this safety, that they are there, and that they can come to them if they need. But they also cannot come to them if they do not feel the need for it. This is another concept of this, what I say, this traumatizing society. Yeah? You know that something is wrong, but then you try to compensate it by doing something extra.
Yes. Like bring them for round the world
Disney
trip.
World or whatever.
Still doesn't help.
No.
So it's just a lie.
No, it's
that they say
this is
quality time.
The first years of development of a children, they need to know that they are welcomed. They need to know they're wanted. Adults are there. They look at them, but they don't discipline them too much. They let them explore, and then they have this basic confidence in themselves, and basic confidence in relationships, and then they are very early, very independent. But those traumatized children, they're never independent. They're always dependent on the parents. Yeah? Even they are 40, 50 years, they just cling on the parents.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
So
this is the result.
The dependency actually continues after childhood.
Yeah. And those children who have this basic feeling of confidence, they know what to do. They do their own things very early.
It's very scary, you know, because if you talk about like adults being dependent still, even after they've grown up, even until they grow old, the reliance still there.
Yeah, and dependency goes on in the partnership relationships and
or the children.
Yeah, and then the children again.
Worst, yeah, too much stress put on the children then. It's really destroyed the whole life. I'm so sorry there's a lot of sigh in this video. Because I'm also a mother and I have also done the same thing to my children before I understand about trauma. It's very hard for us, but I think we take it one step at a time.
Yes, it's not easy to really accept the amount of trauma
that we have
we are in and what we are doing also ourselves, traumatize others. And this is the message, that we should become aware and stop it. First of all, stop all this traumatization, this early traumatizations of children.
What's the best thing they can do for the children?
One thing, again, work on your own issue, try to find out and come out of your trauma biography, and then you have other access to the children. You're more sensitive, you understand them more, what they need and what they don't need. And of course, maybe sometimes it's necessary that the child also is offered IOPT work or some therapy work.
Yeah,
could be.
How young is your youngest client?
I'm not so much working with children. I worked with a boy who was 10 years old, and so. But
they can start to do process, right?
There are colleagues of mine who work with 6, 7, 8 old children already. Yeah,
okay,
it's possible.
Interesting.
If you look at society, parenthood, motherhood, and fatherhood is not really acknowledged. Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
The main thing is work. Yeah.
Yes.
And do some
work, productivity.
Earn money, productivity. Yeah. And as if you can do it aside, being a mother, being a father. It's not true. It's a full-time job. Yeah. You can maybe aside doing some productive work.
So the work should be
for the first years. Having a child is a full-time job. Yeah. And if this is successful, then you can say, no, I have done my job, and now I go to see what can I do on productive work. Yeah. But as long as you have
what you're trying to say?
You try to do both with the same intensity.
It's like a basic responsibility.
It's a basic. Parents are basically responsible for the next generation, and they're basically responsible how our societies develop. But it's not acknowledged. It's so much ignored. They are so much blamed that mothers are blamed that they want to take care for the children. Oh, don't do it so long.
Oh yes, you're right. You are pampering the child.
Yeah, I would say the most important profession in life is being mother or father. And
even for fathers.
Yeah. And doing this as best you can.
Okay.
And if you have done this, then you can do enough of other things.
Okay. Yeah. You know, not just parents need to watch this video, but all those who are not married should also watch this video first before you decide to even think about forming a family, Thank you, Franz.
You're welcome, Christine.
It's very emotional, and it is a lot of truth said in this video. And and I believe that you have a lot of thoughts going through your mind. And thank you also for committing to understand about your life. So if you want to find out more about the works that Professor Franz is doing, please feel free to contact me below and find out more information about his works. And if you missed part 1, please remember to go take a look at it. Also lots of important information for you as a parent. So thank you so much for tuning in. Goodbye.
Goodbye.